Hi, everyone. Looks like everybody's starting to log in to our LinkedIn event. This is our first YPA event of the year because of COVID. I think it is. We may have had another one. Anyways, we have Corinne Hurt with Express Employment Professionals here to talk about LinkedIn, and she's very knowledgeable on the subject, and I hope many of you guys get a lot of takeaways from it. So Corinne, you can go ahead and start.
Hello. Good morning. I'm going to share my screen here when given the option. There we go. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Everybody's muted, so I'm like looking for nods. Okay, good deal. Well, Allie, thank you so much for having me. I'm very active in the Southwest Indiana Chamber, but this is my first Young Professional Alliance event. So thank you for trusting me to talk about LinkedIn. If there's like one thing I love to talk about, it's social media. And if there's two things, it's social media and data. So those are going to go hand in hand today. I really appreciate you guys attending. 45 minutes is a big chunk out of your day. So thank you for dedicating that to me. So 45 minutes, all gas, no breaks on LinkedIn. So we're going to have everybody muted, but if you do have a question, please put it in the comments below. And then we're going to have a little Q&A at the end. So my name is Corinne Hurt. I am a business development manager here with Express Employment Professionals. Have been a member of the chamber for about, I don't know, maybe 2 years now. A little outline today. We're going to talk about tips and tricks of creating your profile, reaching all-star status on LinkedIn, which is the goal, right? You want to be an all-star. Creating and curating content, building your network, and most importantly, interactions, because none of those other things make sense unless you're going to interact and do something with them. You're going to see a theme today that I'm just going to, hit home on several times, which is aspire to be authentic. This quote is from Ian Martell. He is the author and co-creator of Life of Pi. If you haven't read that book or seen the movie, I highly recommend doing that. But the most important thing on LinkedIn is just to be yourself, be authentic, and be honest. So a little bit about me and why I know, or claim to know, I guess, LinkedIn, is I've actually gotten my last 3 jobs on LinkedIn. And if I were to look over my entirety of career, probably about 5. So I went to school late. I started right out of high school. I went to Columbus State. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. I went for fashion retail and marketing. I was like, yeah, this is not going to be a lucrative career. So I dropped out for a while. No shame in my game. Ended up going back, kind of jumped into a paralegal studies program at Ivy Tech. I was like, okay, like I can do this school thing. No worries. Finished that, realized being a paralegal really sucks. You do a lot of hard work. Your attorney gets all the credit. He's driving a Porsche, you're driving a Prius. It's not fun. So I was like, all right, so I'm going to go back for my bachelor's degree and see if we can make something better happen. So got my bachelor's degree in professional studies from USI. I did an individualized studies program, which is basically where you build your own major. Big portion of my major was marketing, public relations, that kind of thing. I was like, man, I'm really on a roll with this bachelor's degree. So right out of the gate of graduation, I went for my MBA in data analytics, wrapped that up early last year, right in COVID times. Didn't have a graduation, which I wasn't too upset about because I don't like walking across the stage, but screaming eagle for life. So as I was working at, or as I was going to school at USI, I was offered a job as a business development manager here at Express Employment Professionals. Love the job. Been here for just under a year and a half. I help manage business development in the Evansville and Bloomington offices. Great company to work for. I assume many of you on here are looking for a job. Reach out to us. We'd love to find you one. In my personal life, like I said, I started my started my education in Columbus, Ohio. That's where I'm from. Relocated here to Evansville in about 2013. Loved the culture. It was definitely a culture shock, but I kind of fell in love with it. Loved the cost of living. I live here with my husband and 2 dogs. In my personal time, I like to travel, kayak, and hike. And like I said, I got my last 3 jobs on LinkedIn. So maybe there's something to that. I don't know. Again, I told you we were going to address this theme over and over and over again today. The most important thing on LinkedIn is to build a profile you're proud of. Be yourself. If something feels awkward, chances are somebody else is going to think it's awkward too. Just change it. No harm, no foul. I'm hoping that all you guys get super excited and thrilled and motivated by this presentation. You're going to go in and just start updating things all over the place. Before you do that, turn your profile update notifications off. The goal is to have an overall profile you're proud of, but like your network doesn't care if you're updating your banner photo 14 times. So just turn it off, wait until everything's ready and good to go, and then go live with it all at once. Don't update point by point. Hopefully, if this class does what it's supposed to, you're going to get a lot more LinkedIn views. You're going to get a lot more activity. Utilize LinkedIn Premium while you can. It is 30 days free. Set yourself an Outlook reminder to cancel it at day 29, 30, whatever. Cancel. You're going to get subsequent offers after that to rejoin for free. It'll say, you know, in 3 months, it'll say, hey, do you want to try LinkedIn Premium again? Here's another free month. Do that for sure. You get a ton of benefit from it. You are given priority in search results, all that good stuff. So LinkedIn Premium, highly recommend. So when you're creating your profile, select an appropriate profile picture. It seems like that would be common knowledge, but it's not apparently. So high quality professional headshot is preferable. Your face should take up about 60% of the frame. Don't do like 90% of the frame. People don't want to get that up close and personal, but definitely at least 60. Pick a photo that actually looks like you. I love a good filter, but don't over filter to where if somebody sees you in public, they're going to be like, is that the same person? I don't know. And most importantly, have a genuine smile. So if you look at my profile, you'll see I actually don't have a professional headshot. There's a reason for that. I hate getting my picture taken by somebody else. I really like to be in control, and I feel out of control. And that really shows through on my face. For some reason, I have a really hard time having a genuine smile when somebody else is taking my picture. I took my picture in my living room with a tripod on my cell phone. So if it comes between you having to have a professional headshot and one that you look genuinely happy on, look genuinely happy. That's going to look a lot better. But if you can have both, that's definitely preferable. Don't overlook your banner photo. It's literally the biggest photo, the first thing somebody's going to see on your profile. Choose a profile that, or a banner photo that speaks to your personality, just like the rest of your profile. If you can't find one that you like, create one on a site like Canva. It is a really good free graphic design program. I created this entire slideshow on Canva. The free version is awesome. The paid version for $12.99 a month is even better. You can create a custom banner. I did it super easy. They have templates, or you can create one from scratch. LinkedIn recently updated their banner dimensions. So if you've had a banner photo for a while, go back in, pull it up on desktop, and make sure that your banner still works on mobile, because chances are it's been updated and it might look a little fuzzy since the last time you looked at it. Your pixels now need to be 2800 by 814 for maximum quality. Think about your tagline. Don't just use your title and organization. That's a really good start, but think about what you want to bring to the table. I think mine is, honestly, I haven't looked at it for a while, but I think mine's helping organizations acquire and retain top talent. It could be you know, a short little snip about yourself, what your mission is. Don't make it too long, but you're more than just your title and your organization. So you need to be able to tell people that. Don't use words like guru, ninja, and rock star. I don't know why salespeople do this, but don't. Unless you're Gene Simmons, you're not a rock star. Unless you are a spiritual leader, you are not a guru. You can be really, really good at your job, but don't be self-promoting. People want you, you know, people want to know about your accomplishments, but they don't want you to be boastful. So just keep that in mind. So next, we're talking about all-star status. So we got all these things, we got our good base. Now let's be all-stars. LinkedIn algorithms are designed to give priority to users who have complete profiles. It's the same with Google Analytics, with your Google My Business. It's the same with your website. They look for as much information and, you know, completeness as possible. So the goal is to get there. Don't lie if you haven't done something, but take that as an opportunity to fill out gaps in your resume or gaps on your profile. It kind of pushes you to do those things that you might not have thought of. When you have recruiters looking for jobs, I know we go out on LinkedIn and we look for people who, you know, who come up on search results, and we're going to go to those people who show up first. Like I said, diversify your experience. Employers love subject matter experts, but they want people who are multifaceted and can contribute in a variety of ways. You know, you might start out as a recruiter, but then you want to become a manager. So you need to have more than just, you know, I've only done HR. Use the workflow feature in LinkedIn. It's built in. You'll start your profile. It'll say beginner. It'll go to intermediate. It'll go to expert, and then it'll go to all-star. The goal is always to become an all-star, because not just for LinkedIn, because it makes you a more well-rounded human. So highly recommend the workflow feature. Don't overlook it. Pay attention to it and complete as much as you can. About me might be the most important part of your LinkedIn. This is where your personality has the opportunity to shine through. If you're a storyteller, be a storyteller. I used to have this ridiculously long bio about my life and what I wanted to do. But you know what? When you meet me in person, I'm like super direct. I'm super to the point. Again, it felt awkward, so I changed it. Mine's the top one: a data-driven professional who helps organizations acquire and retain top talent, reduce turnover, and enhance company culture. You can address your goals. You can address your mission, success stories you've had with clients, anything you want to demonstrate your personality and what you bring to the table. Don't fluff it if it's not there, but give somebody something to have them asking more questions. Again, don't be boastful. Your featured section. So it is no mistake that it goes about me featured, because this gives you the opportunity to feature content that speaks more to you. So you can feature certifications and awards you've received. Almost everything now is done digitally. So get that diploma in a digital form, get that certification digitally. Most of them do already, but if they don't, just scan it in electronically and post it. It can be content you've written. It can be content about your organization. I went on Coursera over the quarantine period, and I got a certification in business development, or in the science of well-being. Nothing to do with business development, but I was like, I need well-being. So took it through Coursera. Sarah from Yale posted it. This is actually, the interactions weren't as high, but as far as profile views, this is one of the highest that I've had. So people love to see your accomplishments. So experience, go back at least 3 to 5 jobs. If you jumped around, I had a period of about a year where I worked 2 different jobs, left after about 6 months, just wasn't a good fit for me. So if you do have a gap, don't close up the gap, but include more jobs to show that you've had longer tenure. As far as the job descriptions under that experience, don't oversell, but don't undersell your experience either. A lot of people have the habit of just like posting your job description. Definitely don't do that. People can tell. Take the time to actually think about what you do day to day and write about it. Also provide quantitative data. And what I mean by that is, if there's a number associated with your productivity, if you're in business development and you've brought in $300,000 in sales in a month, put that. A good example on my end is, I was at One Main Financial for 2 years. And when I was in One Main Financial, I worked in litigation. I had to complete affidavits. It was really important to have quality affidavits, because they're court documents that are going all over the country. On mine, I have, I think I worded it, affidavit quality of over 98% throughout my entire duration at One Main. Provide quantitative results for the work that you've done. As far as education, most people, not everybody on this call, but a lot of people have pursued higher education. If you've done that, you don't have to include high school. We've pretty much assumed if you've gotten a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, you've completed high school. Not necessary. If that's your highest level of education, no big deal. Put that, include your GPA, include the classes that you liked when you were in high school. Just give a little bit more detail. If your GPA, with that being said, if your GPA is lower to the point where you need to feel the need to inflate it, no big deal. When I first went to school, my GPA wasn't great. Just don't include it. If you feel the need to inflate it, don't include it. No one's going to be like, hey, why isn't your GPA on LinkedIn? No one's even going to question it. It's better to be honest and just not include it than be dishonest and try to inflate, because a lot of places, they will pull your transcript. So you don't want to be caught in that hole. Licenses and certifications. This is a great place to demonstrate that you're a lifelong learner with a growth mindset. If you haven't gone back and gotten a certification, whether it be Microsoft Office or the science of well-being, whatever it may be, go back and do it. Employers love to know that your education didn't stop. at high school or at your bachelor's degree or whatever. Having a growth mindset, super, super important at work because things are always, COVID has taught us things are always changing. So you got to be ready to be fluid and pliable, and getting licenses and certifications that grow with the times is a great way to do that. As I mentioned earlier, LinkedIn Premium, highly recommend. And part of the reason why is LinkedIn Learning is free with premium. So it will offer you several free classes that it will get you certified in. It's a digital certificate. You can include that on your resume, include it on your LinkedIn, all that good stuff. If you don't do it through LinkedIn Learning, do it through Coursera. There's a whole reference page at the end of this presentation where I list all these things, but I highly, highly recommend Coursera. You can go at your own pace. You get a legitimate certificate. It has anything you could possibly imagine. Volunteer experience, include anything that you've done. It doesn't have to be long-term. If you walk dogs at the Humane Society, cool, include that. It's any community work I feel is worthy of putting on there because it shows that you can contribute outside of yourself. And employers like to see that too. They want people who have a team mindset, that are willing to take one for the team. Being communitively involved is a great way to do that. So highly recommend. Don't just do it for LinkedIn. Do it because it's the right thing to do. And I will be the first person to say, as far as skills, endorsements, and recommendations, I could do better at this for sure. Don't ever be afraid to ask for endorsements and recommendations. I've always been, I wouldn't say hesitant to give them out, but I haven't really gone out of my way to do it until recently. Actually, until I took this class, I was like, I should do that. There's a lot of people in my life that deserve endorsements and recommendations and all that good stuff. Don't be afraid to ask for them, and don't be afraid to give them. With that being said, ask for legitimate endorsements. You guys, 80 endorsements for gum chewing. This is a real profile. I'm like not even kidding. 67 for small talk. That is really awesome. Small talk is good for sales, but like, stop. 77 for ping pong. Now, this guy might be onto something because I would be wanting to reach out and start a conversation with him, but I don't know if that's going to work for the rest of us. So maybe don't. Make sure it's a legitimate endorsement. Accomplishments comes right after skills and endorsements. If you're not getting a lot of like skills and endorsements for people, that's okay. Talk about the accomplishments that you've had. Awards, honors. If you've been on the dean's list, that's a great idea. There's also a section for courses. Don't include every college course you've ever taken, but if you've taken an interesting course after, like if you've taken an IBM class or, really anything, a class in anything, put it on there. But like I said, they don't need to know every college course you've ever taken. If you're like me and you're an MBA in data analytics, they're going to assume you've taken 4,500 data analytics classes. So just use discretion when you're posting courses. Publications. So this one gets overlooked a lot, but don't overlook it because one, it shows that you're a literate person and a good writer. Even if you're not in a career in writing, this is a really good way to distinguish yourself. Become a Wikipedia contributor. If you don't have a publication that comes to mind that you're like, what would I get myself published in? Wikipedia. Anybody can become a Wikipedia contributor. My only publication is where I founded a page on Wikipedia. Link your publication so people can go in and read it. Wikipedia is cool because if you make any mistakes on the first page, other editors will go in and fix it for you, and you can take the credit. So just make sure you actually contributed because when you link it, they'll be able to go in and see who actually did the post. If you don't know what to write about there's a ton of Wikipedia pages out there. If you're looking for something to write about, there's an entire database, which again, I link in the references below, of journalists who have passed away in the line of duty. And there's no Wikipedia pages about them. Start one. It doesn't have to be super long, but you're doing a worthy job. Again, community involvement, and also you have a publication. So creating and curating content, which perfect segue from Wikipedia. Make sure there's a balance between the two. If you don't know, creation is content that's original to you. It can be things you've written, things you've produced, things you've created. Curation is when you're sharing content that was produced by a third party or an external source. If you do too much creation, people are going to think like, this person's self-absorbed. If you do too much curation, people are going to think, does this person have any original ideas? So do a balance. I mean, if you're maybe not a good writer or you don't know how to create, focus more on curation, that's fine, but always try to create something. Always try to bring something into the world if you're gonna, take something out of it. So content creation, original content almost always does better. I don't know why that is, but it does. You can create your own videos and animations utilizing tools, again, like Canva. This presentation is being presented to you not on PowerPoint, but on Canva. My banner photos on Canva. This, you can't see it move. But this is actually an animation that I created on Canva. And it kind of speaks a little bit to the work that I do. Most of our business is in manufacturing, and manufacturing is a very, very worthy industry. So post a little bit of information, put some movement to it. People love things that move. Pictures do great. Animations, videos, they do better. If you have a blog, post your blog. If you, again, have certificates, post your certificates. If it's original and work appropriate, post it. Work appropriate, key. Content curation. So always provide some context as to why you're sharing. Ambiguity can be okay, but it's not my preference. If you're sharing something, I want to know why you're sharing it. The best way to do that is by adding a caption. So do you agree with the post? Are you wanting opinions from others? And then also keep in mind, are you posting it to bring something to the table or add value, or are you posting it because you want to elicit a reaction? Chances are, if you just want to elicit a reaction or response out of people, it's not very meaningful. And the goal of LinkedIn is to provide meaningful content. So this is for content curation and creation. Avoid controversial topics. Sex, it's like being at your grandma's dinner table. Sex, religion, and politics, they have no business on LinkedIn. And that's not just for things that you're posting or things that you're creating. That's for things you interact with too. If you go and like something, I can see that you've gone and liked it. You may think that, oh, well, I agree with this post. Probably don't want my clients or my customers to know, but I'm going to go in and like it. They can see it. So just please use discretion. This is a business professional level. As you can see in the bottom corner, this isn't Facebook or Twitter. This is for professional level communication. Please use it as such, or it kind of diminishes the value of the platform itself. Avoid the excessive use of hashtags. Keep it around 2 or 3. 4, you're pushing it. 1 is okay, but I just really don't think you should go over 3. Keep things positive. Like I said, provide value to people. It's like the WIFM theory. What's in it for me? People want things that they're going to get something out of. Are they going to learn something? Is it something they're going to be that's helpful in their industry? They don't want to hear about your bad customer or client experiences. Don't talk about how bad your industry's become. Be positive. If you're not a positive person, that's okay. Be direct, but don't be negative. We have enough of that in society today. So definitely don't be that person. So building your network. So we know how to build our profile. We got some tips and tricks for that. We know how to curate content. So let's start focusing on how we're going to get our content out there. Personalize your connection requests. Take the time to create something personal for every connection. You may think, oh my gosh, this canned message, it's perfect. They're never going to know. People will know. I'm telling you, they'll know. I know, everybody knows. So take 2 minutes of your day, or not even 2 minutes, take 30 seconds to create something personal. It has to be intentional. It has to be meaningful. It doesn't have to be long. You don't have to give this, hey, this person and I know this person and we both went to this, but just, hey, I saw that you worked here. I found that your work is really worthy. I would love to connect and whatever. Provide value. Create a normal human to human conversation that you would do in real life. These are actual messages that I've received. This one, no one's going to come up to me and say, hey, Corinne H., how are you? I know this isn't personal. Mitch, if this is a canned message, it's a pretty good one. He noticed what I do for a living. He noticed my industry. I looked at him just to say, hey, what do you do? He doesn't work for a vendor. He works for, a comparable agency. So this I found to be, okay, he probably put time and thought into this. And if it's a canned message, he at least took the time to not call me Corinne H. So bonus points there. Now, again, I'll flat out say, I was really bad about this. I used to be overly selective about who I accepted. Like, if I don't know you, I'm like, I don't know you. I'm not going to connect with you. Why would I do that? Don't do that. The point is to step outside of your current network and expose yourself to new ideas and information. I really wish I would have thought about this and done this sooner, because I probably would have had not only a much larger network, but isn't the point, but I would have been exposed to a lot more different thoughts and ideas. Now that I kind of accept everyone, I see some content that I've never would have seen previously. I've taken classes that I never would have thought about. Highly recommend doing that. If they take the time to, write you a message, send you a request, creep on your profile, add them and see what they have to offer. Again, with them, what's in it for me? What's in it for you? If they're connecting with you, they probably might be sharing content that you can curate their content, or you can at least get some value out of their thoughts and opinions. Don't blanket connect. Even though it looks really cool when you go into your profile and it says 500 plus connections, that's not really the goal. Don't go in and blanket connect, because not only does it remove that kind of like personal touch, LinkedIn will ban you, and you don't want that. So if you send too many connection requests in a short amount of time, they will block you for 5 days, 30 days, depending on how big the offense is. They'll definitely shut your profile off. You don't want that. So again, connect with people, but be intentional about it. Utilize your profile views. If you've gone in and you've creeped on my profile, you better be ready for me to connect with you. So you asked for this. Don't be like, hey, I saw you creeped on my profile, because it's awkward. Look for mutual connections. Look for what they do in life. Look for reasons why they may be seeking you out. Start a connection with them. Go from there. Just handle it on a case-by-case basis, but don't call them out and be like, I saw you viewed my profile 2 hours ago. What are you looking for? So making the most out of your interactions. So don't ask for something too soon. You guys, I hate it when I connect. I'm like, okay, this guy is interested in me. Like, this woman is interested in me. She wants to talk about business. She wants to talk about recruiting. And then they immediately ask me for something. I'm like, we don't even know each other yet. You haven't even bought me dinner yet. You wouldn't demand a favor out of somebody you just met. So like, don't do it online. Use common courtesy. Most of us on the call will agree. If you just met somebody and they were like, oh, hey, will you do me a favor? We would be like, I don't know you. So just because there's a separation of an online platform does not make it okay. Avoid spammy emails. People can tell if it's a canned message. If you want to give them a sales pitch, give it some time. I've made some really great sales that came from LinkedIn. But at the time, I wasn't really trying to give them a sales pitch. I was trying to build a connection, and that's what came out of it. Our operation manager all the time, who's on this call, and I can see her, she's down here. She always says, if you do good work, the sales will come, and it's true. So if you just genuinely try to connect with people, find out what they're about, find out what their company is, your success will come down the line. Be patient, wait for it, just be a decent human to them, and they'll be a decent human to you, and it'll be, it's a mutually beneficial situation. Stay active on LinkedIn. You don't have to treat it like a chore. You're not going to be like, oh my gosh, today at noon I have to post on LinkedIn. Don't do that, but stay active on there. Post something once a day or every other day, or like, comment, share others' content, interact with them. If somebody posts something and you're like, man, that's a good idea, tell them, man, that's a really good idea. People like to see it. They're more likely to interact with you. And again, the algorithm will favor you if you're active. So if you're looking for a job and the algorithms are working their magic, and recruiters like, hey, I'm looking for somebody who is a business development manager. Even if your profile is incomplete, but if you're really active, it's going to come up first. So join groups. I could also probably be better about this. I think I only have 2 or 3 groups. Pick groups that are relevant to your profession and your industry. If you're curious about a group, pick it. Usually they're not groups aren't overly selective about who they join or who they allow access to. And some of them, it's just blanket access. They're just like, oh yeah, you want to join? Cool. But don't make the personal group your soapbox, and definitely don't argue. If you disagree, that's okay. I disagree with things I see on LinkedIn all the time. Don't go in and argue. Save that for Twitter and Facebook. So before you reach out, get the facts. unless you know who you're talking to beforehand, wait until you reach out. Spell their name correctly, you guys. Look at this message. Hi, Connie. It's a difficult name, but it's right there. When you go to message, it's like Corinne H. Hurt. Just read it. Just spell it right. Talk to them about topics they'll actually know about. I've had people, again, if you're on this call and you sent me this top message, get with me afterwards. I'm looking for, recruiting in HR field. I was not in recruiting at this time. They probably saw that I worked for an agency, but they didn't take the time to view my profile and realize I'm not a recruiter. I have no decision-making power over that. And they spelled my name wrong. So even if I did, I would be like, no. This is actually, I thought was a really good one. Good to connect, Corinne. Great to know there are professionals like you in the community. This actually came from after a Chamber of Commerce event. So I knew that we'd had interaction. I'd spoken with this person. Even though we knew each other, we saw each other's faces, we knew each other's names, he still took 2 seconds to send me a message. Again, another chamber one. Hey, I saw that you were, active in the chamber. I've seen you at events, blah, blah, blah. How can I become more involved? Great message. So I'm going to check the chat. Wow, I talk faster. I mean, I'm always a fast talker, but I got through that faster than I thought. Do Allie or Vicky, do you guys see anything in the chat? Because I don't know if I've, oh, I do. Okay, perfect. Oh, thank you, Tish Gibson, much appreciated. From Liz Robinson, commenting matters more than likes on LinkedIn, I found, but our comment will show up on our network's feed, even if they're not connected to the person. So be careful. You are absolutely right. Yes. Anything you do, like I said, anything on LinkedIn, people are probably going to see it. Sometimes I don't know if this is true or not, but I've had the content that I've posted actually come up lower than contact information that I've liked. So yeah, use discretion when you're doing anything on LinkedIn. I kind of told you about this, guys, or told you guys about this resource page. Canva, really good graphic design program, free. Free version's great. The $12.99 a month version, even better. Coursera has IBM certifications. You can actually get a degree on Coursera. It's super easy. It's self-paced. Do it. It is great for expanding your experience. It's great for, again, I took science of well-being. Is that really going to help me in my job? Maybe, but it doesn't directly, but it's kind of made me happier as a person overall. I got some tidbits from that, or if I'm feeling the blues one day, I'm like, that class I took, I'm going to go out and take a walk. I've gotten life skills from that. So don't overlook it. Even if you have a really robust resume, don't overlook continuing your education ever. LinkedIn Learning, the link's right there. Love it. Really good. You can start as easy things like if you use Microsoft Office all day, every day, which I'm sure most of us do, go get a certification in that. Why not? If you're already knowledgeable, if you're already looking at it every day, take a couple minutes to do it. It'll really help you stand out from other applicants. Become a Wikipedian. Like I said, release your internal writer. CPJ journalist, like I said, if you don't know where to start on Wikipedia, write an article about a journalist who passed away in the line of duty. I think we can all agree freedom of speech, super important. News media, whether you love it or hate it, it has a huge role in society. Write about a journalist. They're just doing their job. Chances are a lot of them have passed away for not very good or controversial reasons. Write about them. And last of all, connect with me on LinkedIn. Again, ask for connections, ask for endorsements. Don't be afraid to ask. If you're afraid to share your profile, chances are your profile can use some work. Which is okay. It's a work in, mine is still a work in progress. I was going through this class and I was like, I better update that. My banner photo is not very good. I'm going to go ahead and update that. So it's always a work in progress. Just build a profile you are proud of and you will be good to go. Let me check the chat one more time. But otherwise, I mean, that's all I have. I knew I was a fast talker, but I didn't know if I was that fast of a talker. So. All right. All right. We'll connect with Miss Raka. I hope I pronounced that correctly on LinkedIn. Let's see. Drastic haircut since then. Yes, me too. I was a brunette in my profile picture for a long time and then I just went blonde. So I was like, I better update that. if you include your GPA, how many decimal points should I write out? That's a really good question. I would say if it's between your GPA is between 3.0 and 4.0, I would go to the exact. If it's 3.42, I would go 3.5 just for continuity's sake. But if it's under 3, honestly, I just wouldn't include it. Not that you're a bad student whatsoever. I mean, I think I had a 3.0 GPA the first time I was in school. No shame in my game. But if it's under 3, I just wouldn't include it. Yes, Clark, yes, 3,000 invoice, as many per day you'll be required to capture. Yes, if you're sending out 3,000 invites a day, just I would take a step back and think about how intentional and meaningful you're being. How many connection requests are considered too many, and will you get blocked? Okay, Clark, answer that. 3,000 invites, just don't do that anyways. In my opinion, I don't think you should. Regarding an emoji in your name, this is a controversial opinion. I think a lot of people have emojis in their name. Sometimes I think it can be fun, but I'm not writing emails and text messages to clients and including emojis. I don't think it's professional. I don't recommend it, but if you're a very personable, fun-loving person, go for it. It's not my preference though, just to be perfectly honest with you. What about people who volunteered for religious political organizations or events? That's a really good question. I won't I won't throw my political affiliation out there because I want to, hold your guys' attention, but I actually am a contributor of a political party here in town. I'm the Ward 2 committee person. I did include that on my LinkedIn profile. I think it speaks volumes, like I said, when you're willing to be communitatively involved, as long as you're not interacting with like Biden's an idiot or Trump's an idiot or, whatever, as long as it's not too controversial, I don't think there's anything wrong with putting it on there if you've legitimately contributed. If you're just putting it on there, like I said, I mean, if somebody's paying you to do a job and they trust that you're going to do a good job and they're giving you 30, 40,000 a year, does it really matter what political party you are? I personally don't think so. You don't put it on your resume. But if you're legitimately contributing to a political party, a political event, go for it. Oh, Timber Tucker hired lots of people, never put any weight on GPA at all. Okay, well, that's good to hear because this is my owner. He hired me on LinkedIn and I never knew his opinion on the GPA. So good deal. Thank you, Sophia. Much appreciated. All right, if there's any more questions, please put them in the chat now. Otherwise, Allie, if you don't have anything else, I am good to go.
Thank you so much for your presentation. You gave so much helpful feedback. I feel kind of embarrassed because my LinkedIn profile is so bad. I had no idea.
No, I'm sure it is not bad. Like I said, it's always a work in progress. I mean, even when we hire people all the time that are 45, 50 years old that are looking for a career change, and that's totally okay. Like I said, I graduated from school late. I mean, compared to my peers, I graduated late. As long as you're growing, no worries. Put your work and time into your LinkedIn profile. You'll thank me for it later. If you really, really need some one-on-one help, I am totally okay to jump on a brief call with anyone. Reach out to me. I will put, here, let me put my email in the chat really quick. I think Allie and Vicky are going to post this session up on the website. I think this is recorded. The slides will be available. So if you're like, she said something about this, but I don't remember what it was, you will be able to go back and look. I'm going to put my email in the chat right now. If you need some one-on-one help, I am totally cool jumping on a Teams call or a Zoom with you, and I will help you. And if I can't help you, I'll be like, I can't help you, but check here.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And we hope to have another event in the next month or two. So just follow the chamber and our Facebook and LinkedIn page. And hopefully we'll see you guys at another event. Thank you all for attending. Thank you.
Thank you.